Hey YouTube, today in this video I'm going to be doing an unboxing of the newly released Radeon 7 from AMD. So this particular one is the PowerColor edition. I don't know what box the ones that you order directly off of the AMD website will look like, but this particular one is off of Newegg, so it's PowerColor. When I ordered it sometime within the first hour that was available on the 7th of February. And actually, originally I had ordered the Sapphire one, but during the checkout it was saying that the inventory level changed, it was unavailable, so then I had to redo the order, and the only one available was the PowerColor one. So, doesn't matter which board partner you go with, it's still the reference card, so it doesn't really matter too much. I think the only major difference would be the warranty coverage and then the support, but I've used PowerColor before. They're pretty good. I'd recommend them along with XFX. And Sapphire. Sapphire is my more preferred. As you'll see, we're going to look at the Nitro Vega 64 as well as the old Tri-X Fury from Sapphire as well. That was like an extremely quiet card, although that one is very quiet as well. So let's go ahead and get into the unboxing here. I did own a PowerColor R9 290X PCS Plus. There's an unboxing video of it on this channel somewhere in the past, or actually might be on my other channel, but let's go ahead and open it up, and we're going to compare it here with the other cards, the older AMD cards, flagship cards. So get rid of the box here, and let's see, so we got this at the top. Okay, so it looks like it's going to open up this way. Alright, yeah, okay, so kind of reminds me, this type of opening box reminds me of VisionTech, the way they did their RX 480 launch. So that opens up there, and you can see the card is in its ESD packaging. How should we go about getting this out? So we'll remove this foam here and grab it from the back here. Alright, so it's in a pretty good ESD bag. I think there's some kind of see some paper or something in the bottom of the box there, but we'll get that out of the way. Put the card here. It is relatively heavy. Product needs external power. Please connect power cable from power supply system. Alright, so undo this. That's pretty heavy. Alright, so let's take a look at it. So this is the Radeon 7. It is a heavy card. Very much like, it's heavy like the RTX 2080 because it's got a large vapor chamber in there. You can see that vapor chamber all the way across there. That copper plate represents a vapor chamber. The fans do look a whole lot like the ones on the old PCS Plus from PowerColor, which is interesting for the old 290X. But yeah, two 8-pins, 8-pin power connectors here. That basically signifies that it will use power similar to an RTX 2080 Ti or a 1080 Ti. And then the Radeon logo lights up. I like how they redid the logo here. It no longer, unfortunately, no longer has a dual BIOS. I think that's just cost cutting. Because they're trying to fit the bill of material on this card. Probably budget constrained, I guess. And then I think there's no more load LED, but you do get the red Radeon logo that does light up there, that cube. So that's pretty cool. Looks pretty snazzy, the way they did this here. So you get HDMI 2.0B and 3 DisplayPort 1.4 connectors. So the card does look nice. It's cold to the touch, which tells me that it is aluminum. Like the shroud is aluminum, not plastic. So if we compare it to the Vega 64, it's much heavier than the Vega 64 reference card, just from me holding both of them. This one definitely does feel more significant. So that is good to know, because that means it's got more copper, it's got more heat dissipation capability. But you can see that it is slightly taller than the old Vega 64 reference card. And the I/O layout is the same, but it doesn't have dual BIOS anymore. It doesn't have the GPU tach anymore, so that is a little bit unfortunate. But honestly, it shouldn't matter too much. It would have been nice to have a low power BIOS mode like on the Vega 64, because I personally always run the Vega 64 in the low power BIOS just to reduce noise and heat slightly. So there's that. If you compare it to the, if you look further back at the Tri-X from Sapphire, so this was the R9 Fury that came out in July of 2015, so it's a pretty dated card now, but this card was extremely quiet. This was a really good quiet graphics card, and it had the fans that completely, they don't spin when at idle. Very good graphics card for its time. It bested its competition across the board, which was at the time the GTX 980. So this card, the Fury, beat it hands down. Now for the Fury X and the 980 Ti, that was a different story, but that was a liquid cooled card. So I don't have one of those, unfortunately. But that one is significantly longer. You can see it's like a whole 1.5 inches longer, but it is slightly shorter. So there's that, but it is a triple fan design. I've already watched some of the reviews, so I know this card is going to be loud. 2900 RPM is all you need to know that the card is going to be loud. Which is weird. I mean, well, not weird, because I know that it spins that fast. The Reference 64 spins at 2400 RPM on the blower style radial fan. So I'm curious to know if it's actually louder than the stock settings of the Vega 64 Reference. So I'm going to test that. I have a noise test video on my channel that I did recently, testing the 64 Reference, both Crossfire and just the single card. So if you guys want to check out the noise on that, I'll do a noise test video for the Radeon 7 for sure. But what I can tell you is that this mega behemoth from Sapphire, the Nitro Plus Vega 64, is an awesome AIB partner card from Sapphire. So this one, if you were someone who was enthusiastic about AMD, basically if you were an AMD fan and you wanted Vega 64 or the best that AMD had to offer up until the release of the Radeon 7, this was the card to have, hands down. It is so quiet, it is so good, and it is the fastest and highest performing Vega 64, with the one exception being the liquid edition. But if you're someone who doesn't want any kind of radiator or liquid system, because people are going to say that enthusiasts shouldn't care about that, but I can guarantee you there's a bunch of people you talk to, your typical consumer who wants the best of the best, but he's not going to buy a radiator. He just doesn't want the water in his system. The installation is more annoying to put up with. There's more screws. You got to figure out where you can put the radiator. Some cases won't be able to fit it. It just complicates things, and so I'm glad that AMD moved away from liquid cooling this time around. So, but there will be those that argue otherwise. So the bad thing about this card though was that it had 2 HDMI and 2 DisplayPort. I'm someone who prefers the triple DisplayPort and the single HDMI. I know why they did this, because of VR, but honestly, I have an Oculus Rift. This isn't needed. Sometimes in Windows it messes up when I wake from sleep. It makes the third monitor that's on HDMI like drop from like 1440p to 1080p, and the only way for me to fix it is to unplug it and plug it back in. It's a little bit of a nuisance, but I never had that problem when it was on DisplayPort. So that could just be a one-off case, but I just wanted to mention that I am glad that the Radeon 7 stuck with the enthusiast class triple DisplayPort. I think that's definitely the way to go if you want triple FreeSync monitors on 1440p or 4K. So looking forward to doing some testing, guys. Hope you enjoyed that unboxing video and first look at the Radeon 7. We will catch you guys in the next video. Stay tuned.